Yes, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you support. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV for the collective. A lot has happened. A lot of people seem very humble now as well. Lots of chests throughout the season that seems to have completely vanished and disappeared. But there's still a lot to play for. I don't think anyone on the panel tonight won a game of football this weekend. That's how bad this weekend's been. Today, we're going to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold being booed by his own fans. Booed after about 10 years of service. Booed. We're going to be talking about Nottingham Forest's owner going on and berating his employee, Nuno, on the pitch. How embarrassing for Nottingham Forest is that? We're going to ask Ant. We're going to find out. Chelsea and Nicholas Jackson having an absolute nightmare at Newcastle. Arsenal have fallen off an absolute cliff. I think that's no wins in 4 now in all competitions. I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And George and myself, we've got nothing to crow about other than a Europa League final because we have been utterly dreadful with 1 win in 10 Premier League games.
Some may say bigger fish to fry, but that's not me. That's not me. That's not me.
Are we turning into AFTV? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's going on?
I understand that. You can fry bigger fish, but you don't have to lose 20 bloody games in the Premier League to do it. Yeah, come on.
Hang on. Before we're gonna fire some shots, I'm so glad it's you, Ant, and not Wolfie, because with Wolfie we'd get a load of waffle, blah blah blah. But guys, let's start. I want to start with Trent. I do want to start with this because I'll be honest, I was watching the game yesterday and I'm thinking to myself, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's been a really good, I hate the word servant, but he's been a really good ambassador for Liverpool for what, 8, 9, I don't know how many seasons he's been a pro, but, he's won everything. Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, Super Cups. He's played hundreds of games. He's got loads of assists. He's got goals. And Liverpool fans booing him when he comes on yesterday. Romz, I'll start with you. Surely this can only be, this is like a kind of, I love them so much, I'm hurting so much, I'm going to lash out. Surely this is just not right.
It was the way they dealt with it, because I was at the game, right? And what's funny, Sav, right? What the TV would have picked up, when he was warming up and they called out his name, when he called out the lineups 5 minutes before the teams come out, he didn't get booed. This is what was so weird. He didn't get booed when his name got called out. But it's like the minute he came on, the boos were reverberating around the whole ground. And don't get it twisted, there was a few pockets that were clapping. There was a few people with signs saying, "Thank you, Trent." But it was about 80% boos, 20% cheers. And I clapped him off because, do you know what? The year has ended sour, but for me, I can't ignore what he's done in the last 8 years. For me, he still is a legend. But what I'm always getting told the last 2 weeks, I've been getting abused. You're not even a Scouser, you're a London Liverpool fan. Yeah, I'm not a Scouser, so maybe I don't 100% understand what it means. He is the embodiment of the club, and the people from Liverpool be hurting even more. And I don't want him to leave, but I don't agree with I hope you get injured, I hope your brother gets I don't believe with all of that disgusting stuff, right? But it wasn't nice to see. I just feel like even if you don't agree with how even if you don't agree with how he's leaving, booing a player that still plays for us, it didn't sit right with me. And I started clapping him. I'm getting people in the cop looking at me like I'm crazy. And it's like, I still respect what he's done. And then he got in an argument yesterday. And it's like, the irony is he came on and created 2 chances that could have won us the game as well, which is crazy. And it wasn't nice to see. I don't agree with it, Sav, personally. I understand why fans are doing it, but I don't agree with it. And I don't know if you saw Andy Robertson's post-match interview. I think he was bang on. So he basically come out and said, he's still a friend of mine. He had to make a decision. Like, if people want to boo him, basically you can boo him. But if you don't want to boo him, then you're entitled to do what you want to do. I think he has the best interview, and he was the best spokesperson for this situation, because I think some people are going too far one way and too far the other way. I think Robbo was the most balanced, but it wasn't nice.
Romz, 353 games, 9 seasons, 9 major trophies, like Premier League Team of the Year three times. like everyone in the chat, everyone in the group, is this now where we're at? That if a player is from that club, they can never leave? Is that like Spurs booing Harry Kane as he was going to leave? And it's mad, isn't it?
To add to that, are they angry because he's a Scouser and he's not allowed to leave Liverpool, or are they angry because he's going on a free?
The thing is, and if you'd asked me this a month ago, I would have said they're angry because we didn't receive a fee. Then I've spoke to a lot of scouts and they're like, do you know what? Regardless, even if he left, because we're in our prime and we look like we're actually challenging on all fronts, I think it still would have ended sourly. So I think he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Because even if he did, let's say we received what Villa received for Grealish. Let's say if we received 100 million. I feel like it will soften the blow a bit, but I still feel like the majority would still be angry. I still think this would be the case. Because
Villa fans still boo Grealish, don't they?
Exactly. Prime example. So, and he's one of their own. I feel like, what is this? He's supposed to be the embodiment of the club. Been at the club. It's not even 10 years, Savva. It's actually 20 years. If you're going to go back to when he signed, he's been at the club 20 years. And I just feel like the irony is the saying you never wore cologne is you're supposed to always back your own, right? But some of the Liverpool content creators I spoke to and the scouts I spoke to, they kind of educate me. You never walk alone unless you're playing for our club. The minute you walk away,
you're alone.
Well, and let me ask that. Let me ask Hooks. Let me ask you. I mean, this is. I'm just going to give you a hypothetical. So, 4 years down the line, I don't know how long Saka's got left. 4 or 5 years down the line, Saka's been at your club. He's had 9-10 seasons, and he leaves. Is he getting boos? Is he getting cheers? And does it depend on whether it's a free transfer or not? Because surely we can't just say that anyone who comes through an academy and gets sold is going to get boos. Like, this is pure profit if you sell him. And if you don't, then you've not wasted any money. So what would you do in that situation, Hooks?
What would I do personally, or what do I think the Arsenal fan base would do? Because I think those are two very different things. Because, like, let's be honest. Like, yeah, us as football fans, we may all wear different tops, but on the most part, we kind of behave the same way. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's going to be a section of the crowd that actually, I don't know. It's hard to say, innit? But I do think there'll be a section of the crowd that would boo Saka. I don't think it would be as big as 80%. And I think I guess the percentage of the crowd that did boo him, I think it would depend on the context of how he's leaving. Like, is it on good terms? Is it on bad terms? Like, what has he won with us? Like, so on and so forth. Like, I feel like a lot of context goes into it, but I don't think it matters if it's like a free or not. That's the part that I find weird about the Liverpool fan base. So, sorry, any Liverpool fans in the chat, because I learned today that we're not allowed to tell you how you feel. We're not allowed to. Just not allowed to have an opinion on it. You know what I mean? Even though I'm talking about the behavior, I'm not talking about how you feel, because obviously you feel sad or annoyed because Trent is leaving, but it's more so the behavior. I don't agree with the behavior, but that behavior is not exclusive to Liverpool. Like, you see it at many different clubs. And me personally, it's a behavior that I would like to see stop, because at the end of the day, like, these guys are human, innit? So, like, imagine this, in the scenario that, like, say it is Saka's devoted like so much time to the club. He's pretty much so we're saying 4 years, so he's leaving when he's like 28. So he would have devoted all of his career, the majority of his prime, to Arsenal.
You do get well paid, you know, by the way. When people say this about always a servant to the club and everything, you know, I'd be a servant to any bloody club for 200 grand a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if we're saying that, like,
noted.
He could have left when he was 22. He could have left when he was 23. He could have left when he was 24. But, like, he would have signed that new, and he's in the process of signing a new contract. Like, this is the difference as well. He's committing to Arsenal when Arsenal are not in a phase of winning. We're not winning things. Like, the difference with Saka's actually out there. Trent is out there winning things. So he's won things for your club, which makes even less sense for me, because he's won everything at Liverpool.
Also been pivotal in winning every.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's also been pivotal. And then let's have it right. Like, if he was leaving to go to Manchester United on a free. Yeah, I'd be right there in the crowd.
I'd have the pitchforks out. I'll have it head on.
I'd be with you.
Honestly.
I'd be with you, man. But let's be real. He's going to Real Madrid. He's leaving the league. And do you know what makes just even more mad as well? I guarantee you, he'll probably go to Real Madrid 4 or 5 years. He'll retire at Liverpool. What then?
So let me ask you then, everybody. Let me ask you. Sorry, is this then the aspect that he's going on a free? Because if he's going on a free, is this Trent's fault? Or is this Liverpool's fault? Like, if you know, like one of my biggest issues, and I can't believe I'm going to bring this man's name up. Sorry, I'm sorry, any Spurs fans. Jules already knew. He already knew. One of my biggest issues with Sol Campbell, obviously went to Arsenal, but sell him. You know he's got a year left on his contract. Sell him, right? That's why I'm happy we sold Harry Kane and take that in the context. I don't want to sell Harry Kane, but if you know he doesn't want to sign a contract, you go, how much money can I get? George, isn't this on Liverpool? Isn't this Liverpool's fault that they've let his contract run down? A player of that ability get to 0 months on his contract. It's mad.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I feel like, because obviously I've heard everyone's point of views, and again, I was watching Hooks' show earlier with D, and they were saying both point of view, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I don't feel like you can ever tell like a fan how to feel about their club or about a player, because ultimately it's a feeling. Like you have a certain affinity that you've built, however many hours and days you've spent watching and devoting to that player / club. No one's going to tell you how to feel about when they go, but at the same time, the club does have a duty of care to be like, yeah, if he is going to leave, let's try and get some money for him. I think Trent, the problem with what Trent was and why a lot of people, he's getting probably more hate than what he would have, is because he was doing, you know, the all of this stuff at the start of the season. I'm here doing the talking. Yeah. He's playing into the journalism type of thing, giving them what they want, making the fans, especially like you got to see it from a fan point of view, especially one like think of a fan that really loves Trent. Let's just say young fans, 17, 16 fans that have grown up, and he's been the best player they've seen, the best Liverpool. He's going to literally be for a Scouser, the Scouser that's led Liverpool to the greatest times. When you see that, you have someone saying, "No, I'm going to stay," and then right at the end of the season, a few weeks where he says, "I'm going to leave," it's like a heartbreak moment. It's like at that point, nah, do you know what? He lied to me. He told me he never actually did, but he come out and he was doing all the signs that he basically did lie in a way. So he has to take responsibility. And the hate that he's getting, he knows why he's getting that hate. He knew he was going to get that hate. And unless he come out early in the season and said, look, this is my last year, do the like sort of what Salah said earlier in the year, but he didn't actually say he was leaving. But this is my last year. I just want to have a good season. I'm going to move on to newer pastures, but I'm focused on just winning something and doing the best for Liverpool. If he come out and said that, I don't think he'd get booze. Not today, maybe at the first couple games, but by the end of the season, it would have drowned out.
You know what, George? Maybe he saw what happened to Gerrard when he actually dared to suggest that he might consider leaving to Chelsea.
Mate, he
made his life a bloody misery. So maybe he thought, I don't want that, so I'm going to say nothing until it's.
Was that the effigies? Is that when they were burning the effigies in the street?
Threatening his life, going around to his house.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Football fans are a special breed, aren't we? We are so.
You know what I said?
Emotional about a human being leaving your football club.
That's the thing I said, Savva, earlier. I was like,
it's almost as if your club will end if they leave. Like the club.
Gerrard's
the question really
Liverpool.
is our
I was going to say, would they have done the same for Salah, or would he have got a buy because he's not a Scouser?
Salah probably would have got a buy, 100%.
Yeah,
he would have got a buy. 100%.
You know, in response to what you said, Sam, and I've said this for about the past month. Ever since Fabrizio come out that morning, I think about a month ago, and said, "Look, he's leaving." Right? I said, for me, my anger's more FSG than Trent because look, we've offered him apparently 4 contracts within the last year. That it's known in the background that we have. But the first major one was 2022. We tried to renew his contract when I believe he had about 3 years left. And you know what Romz did a lot? They did really good at it with Mbappe. Don't sign another contract, run it down. And if you don't abide by what we say, we're not signing you. So that's what they did with Trent in believe it was November 2022. Now, where our fans are aggrieved, and I get it, is because he's basically played the club saying, you know what, I'm and Aaron, I'm not too sure if I want to sign. And that's when sentiment kicked in. They gave him benefit of the doubt. Because he's a scouser, because he's come up through the academy, cool, we're going to let you make your decision. But this is where I say, hold on, no. FSG need to be ruthless. If you're not going to sign, we need to sell you. We can't let one of our biggest assets go for free. It can't happen. And that's why I feel as a club, we wasn't ruthless enough. And I feel like we allowed Trent to run his contract down of sentiment of him being one of our own. Now, you might look at it and think it's admirable because look, he's one of our own. We'll give him more benefit of the doubt as we would, I don't know, for a foreign player. But at the same time, we shot ourselves in the foot because we've let him run it down. And now he's gone, you know what, I want to go to Madrid. I'm going to abide by their rules. I want that move. And now we're losing him for free. That's why I think the anger from the fans comes. But I think, no, it's not on Trent now. It's more on the club. The club should have been more ruthless. Ruthless.
Chelsea are a classy fan base, as we know, Charlie. You've got all the classy fans and have never done anything that's controversial.
Only the best in West London, yeah.
The posh West London crew, you've got Made in Chelsea and all those posh rich kids flying around there, and you've got a stadium in Fulham. But other than that, when Mason Mount left, when Conor Gallagher left, when Tammy Abraham left, I could go on and on and on. You've sold so many. Do your fans do this, or is it different because they tend to go for quite decent fees? Have you booed anyone? Is there anyone that comes back and gets booed?
I mean, I personally haven't. I think Gallagher's different because the club wanted him out. It was very clear. The fans loved him, but the club wanted him to leave, so he went. Abraham wasn't really good enough, so they were sold. The only one who gets booed, I don't do it, but the only one that does get booed is Mount. There's a real dislike amongst a lot of Chelsea fans for him because of how that whole contract situation kind of played out, and then he went to United. But we did get 55 million for him with 1 year left on his deal, and he's basically been injured for 2 or 3 years there. But yeah, I think because we get fees and because most of the time the ones that have gone haven't really made a huge impact on the first team. It doesn't tend to happen too much.
Yeah. No, understood. Oh, hang on. Sorry, Romz, just on a side note, you're not having any of this? Pedro Porro, you don't...
You know what is sad, but I think you and George would agree as Spurs fans. One minute. You and George would agree as Spurs fans. I think Porro is excellent going forward. The other way, but then some people say, well, you've dealt with that with Trent, but I don't want Porro.
And just to give you a little stat, he's actually involved in more goals since joining the Premier League than Trent has been. So if you're talking about going forward, technically,
is that goals conceded?
He's got receipts. George has got receipts.
I've always rated Porro going forward.
You could say by the stats, he's better than Trent going forward. That's just statistically.
Do you know what? This is where you and Savva will laugh. Mr. Levy, though, will say, yeah, you want Porro 100 million. He'll extort us. So
what about 75?
I like how polite you were there about our owner, Mr. Levy. Oh, Mr. Levy, yeah. That's how the Spurs fan base know him, rather than, how does he sign off? Daniel Coys, doesn't he? He signs off as Daniel Coys. It's like,
that's terrible.
Daniel. Like, oh, by the way, I've got a bone to pick with your Wolfie ant earlier saying, yeah, and we're going to move on to this now. We're talking about owners. He said, yeah, your owners at every game, unlike Levy. And I'm like, we have to see that smug little...
Yeah, he's every game.
Sitting there with no expression on his face while we lose.
Lewis was the owner.
Well, Lewis was the owner.
Isn't he in prison?
Now, he's not allowed to be the owner. So there's a Lewis Trust Fund set up, the Lewis Trust. Mate,
we know that.
Lewis is sitting in the Bahamas somewhere with his, whatever he's worth, 7-8 billion. He's about 84, 85 years of age. Every now and then you'll see his 4 million foot yacht just travel down. I say yacht, it's a luxury. Traveling down the Thames. Anyway, let's move to this, guys. And Ant, I'll start with you. I mean, your owner. I mean, one of my fellow Greeks. I mean, you got to love him. He don't give a shit what he looks like. He comes on like tracky bottoms t-shirt. He don't give a crap. What was all that about? Publicly berating your manager in the centre circle. I saw the debate that you guys were on at Romz and George. I saw you were on the debate. For me, I'll give my opinion in a minute. And what did you make of it? Is that the right thing to do?
Right, first of all, I got to say, I did find it quite amusing that when he had to put his shares into a blind trust for the in case we got Champions League, all these rival fans that are exceedingly jealous at the passion and love for the club that our owner has, we're all saying, well, that's it then. That's it. He can't do this. Yeah, well, he seems to be still involved to me, if I'm honest. Secondly, Mr. Marinakis can walk on join the game, can walk on the pitch, go to the centre circle, have a shit, and that's okay by me. That man can do no wrong. Okay, so let's get that out.
I can tell you haven't had a good year for about 30. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, to be honest, the man loves our club and he cares. That's all you can, and he's rich. That's all you can hope from an owner. Yeah. So let's get that out there. There's been so much crap spoken, honestly. Gary Neville wants fucking neutering me. He wants putting away. He should never be allowed to have children. It'd be the guy's a genetic dead end. That. Right? Yeah, well, it's too late for that, isn't it? So what happened is Mr. Marinakis came on, and if you actually watch it, he wasn't even going towards Nuno. He was going towards the ref, and Nuno went to grab him to say, "Don't do that, gaffer." He turns round, and what he's saying is, "Why the fucking hell did you?" Because what happened is about 15 minutes, 10 minutes from the end of the game, and I was at the game, so I could see clearly what was happening, is that Taiwo Awoniyi went into the post and busted his ribs up. You could see it. He was down for 5 or 6 minutes being treated. And every time he stood up, he fell back down again. But the medical staff, sorry, this is a long one and really boring, but it needs putting right. So the medical staff, because Taiwo said, "I'm okay." So the medical staff said to the manager, "Thumbs up, he's all right." We then immediately make a substitution. And of course, Taiwo can't even walk. So for the last 10 or 15 minutes, we're playing with 10 men and we were shitting off with 11. So what Mr. Marinakis was going on about was why was that happening? And then Nuno says, because of the medical staff. And then he understood it. And if you look at the statement since, Nuno's saying all the right things. I mean, when Neville's saying he should go straight away and resign, is he retarded or something? He should go and resign. Does he know how much these guys are on? Right. And maybe also, he's a Greek owner.
We're going to
He's a Greek owner. Nuno knows how Mr. Marinakis is. He knows how he is. He knows he's very, very passionate, off the cuff, and says it exactly what he thinks. So Nuno's come out and saying, no, it's passion. There was no argument. It was all about the substitution. And then Mr. Marinakis has also come out and said the same thing. He said, Nuno and I have got a great relationship. I was trying to understand why we made the substitution when it was obvious that Taiwo was injured. It's down to the medical staff. And I don't envy the medical staff this morning. I really don't. Nuno will be fine. The medical staff, not so good. So again, lots of people got
he's
agenda.
Not berated Nuno, and this is all being blown out of proportion and everything's fine. Is that how everyone see it that way, or just the Forest fans? Is that how it looks, everyone? Is there anyone think there's more to it, or is this just a mountain out of a molehill?
I hear what Ant's saying, but I just feel like you shouldn't air out your dirty laundry. Personally, I feel like that should have been done behind the scenes.
Yeah, none of us are saying it was right. None of us are saying he should have come on the pitch. None of us are saying that. Yeah. But what we are saying
Wolfie
is let's put it into proportion.
I know you're not Wolfie, but Wolfie was literally saying, no, he had every right to go on the pitch.
Well, legally, literally, lawfully, he does have the right. He owns the bloody pitch, right? So he does have a right. But yes, listen, I'm not stupid. Of course, it's not good when chairmen go running on the pitch and appear to have blow-ups and stuff. But then nobody moans when he runs on the pitch and hugs the players and hugs the manager. That's all right. So he's all right to go on the pitch then. Anyway, it's a mountain out of a molehill.
Well, look. If it's a mountain out of a molehill, let's start on the football side of things, guys. I mean, Nottingham Forest.
Can we go back to talking about Mr. Marinakis?
Hang on. Let's, guys. Charlie Hooks. Nottingham Forest have absolutely fallen off a cliff at the worst moment. And when we talk about in football that it's about the cream rising to the top and the business end of the season, this is one win in their last 5 or 6, if I'm right. I think 1 in 5 for Nottingham Forest. is this just a case of it was probably just one step too far, or does anyone actually think Forest, with 2 games to go, have still got it in their hands? What are we making of Nottingham Forest?
They just run out of steam.
It's like they could have dealt with a certain Harry Kane, but what do we know?
Yeah, but don't forget, he's not better than Chris Wood in that system.
Don't even joke about that. Harry Kane. Chris Wood, by the way, scored his 20th league goal. Yes,
that is it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
He's good. He could have 60.
So how many would Kane have got?
Not picking him over Harry Kane, are you?
Yeah. Kane plays half a season.
You know
and gets
I don't know. Yeah. Actually, you wouldn't have been on the stream because actually he may have been on the stream, but it was an inside joke because Wolfie was basically saying he wouldn't take him, and we were all like, "What are you on about?" So that's why
he doesn't like Kane. He genuinely off screen. He doesn't like Kane. Doesn't rate him at all. I've had loads of arguments with him.
I agree in hating one of the best free strikers in world football. I think it makes complete sense. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It's one of those situations where it's not, in my opinion, it's not even worth arguing against because it's just so ridiculous.
I hear you. Charlie, Hooks, Forest, they haven't they? I'm not being rude. I'm not bantering anyone. They've fallen off a cliff at absolutely the wrong time.
They've run out of steam. They've run out of steam, Savva. They've done an exceptional season. I think, obviously, it's difficult when you've been basically top 3, top 4 pretty much all season and you fall away with like 4 or 5 games to go. But people need to realise Nottingham Forest playing European football next season. That's mad. These are one of the favourites to get relegated. And so obviously it's disappointing when you're so close to something and ultimately you fall just short. But this is Forest playing European football. They're one of the favourites to go down. They only just stayed up last season. That's a ridiculous achievement. So, failing to get in the Champions League and been there most of the season shouldn't overlook the fact that Nuno's done a ridiculous job and they've overachieved massively and had an unbelievable season. It was always going to be difficult the last few games. The squad hasn't really got the experience of competing at the top of their table in those pressure moments. And the players just ran out of steam. And there's no shame in that, They'll probably be better for that experience, and maybe they'll be in a better position to get themselves over the line if they find themselves in that position again. But this shouldn't, dictate whether Forest have had a good season or not. They've had a ridiculous season.
At the moment, Forest fans, I would say it's probably 50-50, really peed off about the way we've dropped off. But I keep saying on our streams, you don't judge you can be upset right now, you can be disappointed right now, but don't judge the season until the season's over. And if we finish 7th, it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. And to be honest with you, I've come to the conclusion the only reason people want to get into the Champions League, or the main reason, is money, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about 90 million, 100 million, all that lot. Unless you think you can win it, which is not realistic for a lot of our clubs. It is for some, but not all of them. So for me, and I've said this on a previous stream on here, that maybe if we can get into the UEFA Cup, the Europa League, that's a better.
Showing your age, Jan. Showing your age.
I know. Yeah. Let's be absolutely fair and honest now. If Tottenham and Man U can get to the final, Forest certainly can. Right?
Oh, hang on. I love this way this turned into a little shot on my club. Well, listen.
No. I'm just saying, for us, it may be better, Savva.
The Europa League.
I agree with you. I think the fact that we're going to talk about the Europa League final in a minute, but the fact that Spurs and Man United are that bad and are both in the final shows the level of the Europa. But we'll come to that in a minute. Hooks, I want to ask, because you are someone that for months and months and months has been going backwards and forwards with Wolfie about Forest finishing above Arsenal and blah, blah, blah. And you've always maintained it won't. The question I'm going to ask you, Hooks, is if Forest don't get the Champions League, because there's obviously the revenue between Champions League and Europa League is huge. The difference is huge. Do you think Forest are going to struggle to hold on to their better players if they can't offer Champions League football? So the Morgan Gibbs-White players that have stood out this year, like the Murillos, do you think there's a problem, a chance there they might not be able to hold on to them, Hooks?
I think they'll struggle anyway, regardless of if they get into the Champions League or not. I don't think it has. Truth be told, any player that's already there, like their goal for this season wouldn't have been Champions League football. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Milenkovic isn't signing for Nottingham Forest because the aim is to get into Champions League football. So I feel like a lot of the players that are there, they're probably like, whoa, Europa League. Wow. And then maybe we thought conference at best, but like, whoa, that's like way out there. We didn't expect that. Like, so I don't think I feel any player that leaves would have left anyway, regardless of wherever they end up. Especially when you look at the
these, by the way, people keep talking about these players.
Gibbs White will go.
Well, Gibbs White can go for nothing as far as we're concerned at Forest. Right, he can go for nothing, and we've been saying this for months. No, we've been saying it for a long, long time.
I think
the guy's a joke. The guy's a joke.
He's one of your best. He's one of your best players.
He can't hold the ball and lay it off. He has to try and do a pirouette every single time, and every single time he loses it. He has to do a Trevella with his passes every single time. Occasionally they'll come off and look brilliant, and everybody goes.
Can I just ask a question, Anne? Do you prefer Yates in midfield?
No, I don't.
I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to check if it was like an aesthetics thing, or you just wanted an hard man in midfield, an old school Roy.
No. We need. It's not as creative as people think. People only see the highlights. Trust me, when you see it every week, he is the most frustrating player on this planet.
He generally, whenever I watch him,
because he's trying to be clever. He doesn't do the simple thing. It drives you insane. So he can go.
Erdegaard does the simple thing, and I tell you what, the simple thing is very frustrating as well.
How long's left? Can he go on a free this summer, or does he have a year left?
No, he's got at least another 2 years, and they're negotiating as well. I think he's got
14. Listen, again, I'm not one of these that just cares about GA, but he's got 14 goal contributions. Are we really sitting here and saying that Morgan Gibbs White can just go? Is that where
Chris
Forest fans
got 20 goals? Are you telling me that you'd have him as your striker?
No. Hang on. That's not what I asked. Listen to that. That's not what I asked. Yeah, I'm asking. Are you seriously telling me that the majority of the Forest fans are feeling, oh, he can go this summer, it don't matter? Like, I'm not saying he doesn't try to pirouettes and he's not frustrating, but
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think the majority of fans probably think he's the best player on earth, but that's football fans for you. They're easily fooled, aren't they?
Would any of you on the panel take him at your club?
Oh, in a heartbeat. I'd take Morgan Gibbs White in a flash.
Oh, man.
Arsenal will take him. Romz?
No.
I'd take head off the buzz there. I know he's won me a league, but I'll have him in that 10. I would have Gibbs White.
The money's coming in, boys. The money's coming in.
So Arsenal, hang on, George, as our Spurs representative, are you having him on White Lane?
No, I don't think he's like, again, I don't think I don't think he's that good. I think he turns up on his day, but again, he goes missing for a majority of the season. And when you need a player to, rely upon to either create a goal or score a goal, he's not that guy. He doesn't create and score goals that often. He's good in the middle of the park, moving the ball and keeping it ticking, but I don't think he's that amazing like as many people think. Like,
that's right, shooting. We've got bigger standards than these Liverpool and Arsenal fans. That's absolutely right, George.
Have you seen him try to take a shot? Honestly, it's so. Yesterday he had a free kick, and no Forest fan got excited. We all stood there, and he took his free kick. He went over the bar and went, "Yep."
Do you know what? Gibbs White's one of them players, right, where he does the hard part really well, and then the end product just isn't really there. I've spoke about big up Wolfie. I spoke about with Wolfie as well. I'm not comparing him to Gravenberch. I'm not comparing him to Gravenberch at all, but it's similar with Grav. Like, Grav will do all the hard stuff. He'll beat 2-3 players, and then the shot is just wayward, or it's in Rose Ed or something. But I do feel
Romz 1 year of getting Europa League, and they're going, yeah, we're better than Morgan Gibbs White. Don't worry, we're better than him. Let's just.
If I was a Forest fan, I want to keep it. I want to keep it.
Some of us look beyond the fact that a player can run about 100 miles an hour for 90 minutes.
Sure.
Right? Some of us look beyond that. And I've been like this for 2 seasons with him.
Sure. No, listen.
And you can imagine what people call me, and I don't care because I know football and I know that guy is not top quality. And I hope he does go to Liverpool and Chelsea, fight over him, pays 100 mil, and then I can sit back and laugh.
I love this. So he's not that good, but you want 100 mil for him. That's brilliant.
Yeah, because other people. No, I said I'd let him go on a free. These guys are willing to pay. Let them pay. I'm not going to turn it down.
Charlie, let me ask you. I mean, Morgan Gibbs White. If Morgan Gibbs White is available. So if his agent starts ringing up all these intermediaries, there's going to be a lot of suitors, isn't there, Charlie?
Because there'll be loads of them. There'll be loads.
Because he is English as well. And listen, I don't care that players are English, but the homegrown rules do care that players are English. So where do you reckon he'd go to, Charlie? How high is he going up? Is he going to City, Arsenal, Liverpool levels?
Well, I think he could be going to City. You know, they're obviously homing on him as one of their main targets. I mean, obviously with Wirtz probably going to Bayern Munich now. I know it's slightly different positions, but I think if City is serious and those reports are right, then I think Gibbs White could end up at Man City in the summer. But again, you know, if he doesn't, maybe someone else will go. And I know Spurs have been linked with him in the past. So if you'd go back in for him again, I don't know. But
we're linked with everyone, Charlie. Don't listen to Spurs links. We're linked to everyone. We're still in talks with Saido Berahino for the last 15 seasons. So don't worry about that.
No, mate, I think he'll go City or he'll stay at Forest.
Interesting.
I don't think an Arsenal will come in.
Wolfie, by the way, Wolfie says that 3's a bit of a stretch.
I mean, look, it's interesting, isn't it? Look, Forest, I think, when all is said and done, when the banter is finished, when the dust settles, when Wolfie's not out here telling us that Nottingham Forest have won 2 Champions Leagues, even though it was about 97 years ago, Forest have had a good season.
By the way, at both of them. So none of this, you weren't even born, crap.
I'm not doubting it. But when the dust settles, Forest have had a very good season.
Very good season.
Yeah. Amazing.
I want to move on to, we've got to, not because it's my club, but we've got to. There is a little Europa League final going on in about 9 days' time. And it literally is the battle of 2 teams who are in dreadful, dreadful form. Both Spurs and Man United have not won for 6 Premier League games each. Both have won 1 in 10, right? Both football clubs are an absolute shambolic state in the Premier League. And both of them, by hook or crook, have got a get out of jail free card for 90 minutes in Bilbao, guys. I'll come to George last because he's got more skin in the game than the rest of you, and so have I. What do you lot, first of all, feel free to take the piss, I don't care. What do you lot make about Spurs and Man U being in the final? Who's it more important to in terms of, you know, you're going to have 5 or 6 teams. You're going to have 6 teams. 6 English teams are going to be in the Champions League. You're going to have clubs, maybe 1 or 2 that don't make it, maybe a Villa or a Newcastle that are still going to spend and still up there. How important is this, guys? And who's the favourites in your eyes and why?
I'd probably say United is probably favourite. I know you've beaten them 3 times this year, Savva, but I don't know what it is about them. It doesn't matter how bad they are. They always seem to find a way when their trophies are on the line. Done it FA Cup, they've done it Carabao Cup, and they've done it. It looks like they could potentially do it. And they haven't lost a game in this competition, and yet they're losing games for fun in the Premier League. But look, Spurs have absolutely got a chance, for sure. You've beaten them 3 times this year, so and United are no better than they were in all those other times you've played them. But I just think it's such a strange approach from both teams to just be throwing away league games, not caring about them in the build-up to a big final. What happens if you lose that final? You know, you've got a load of demotivated players, don't know how to win consistently, and then you've got new signings that won't come because there's going to be no European football, or it's a choice of joining a club that's just finished 16th or 17th. So whoever loses this final for me is going to have a very, very hard time signing any decent players in the summer. So you've put all your eggs in your Europa League basket.
Even with Mr. Levy at the helm.
Even with Mr. Levy. But like, I don't understand why they're just throwing away league games like they don't matter. As if like going into a final on like a 6, 7, 8 game losing streak is good preparation. I just don't understand it. Can you not manage winning like a couple games a week? Is that, or playing twice a week? What's the idea behind throwing away league games to prepare for a final? Surely losing every week's not good preparation for a final.
Do you know? I always think
just quickly, Charlie, just before Romz comes in, Charlie, just in Spurs' defence, and take this how you will. I don't think we're throwing games because we're in the Europa League final. We've lost 20 games. We've lost 20 games this season. We've been throwing games all year.
It's a fair point.
We don't know what it's like to win in the Premier League anymore. It's been that long.
Do you know what?
By the way, that 1 in 10 that Spurs have won, George, remember who it was against? The 1 in 10?
United?
It was United in the last 10. Or no, sorry, Ipswich 4-1. Wait, you talking about last 10 games?
The last 10 games we've won once. Do you know who it was?
Bodo
Glimt. No,
that was singing.
It was last month. It was at the start of
Southampton.
April. Oh, that's it. Southampton. I knew it was on the bottom side. Southampton.
Hey, City couldn't do it.
Only Southampton.
Yeah, we're better than
We've won
City.
4 games since the turn of the year. That's what I know. Since the turn of the year, I remember 4 Premier League games. That's Ipswich, Southampton, United, Brentford. I think they're the only games we've won.
That's mad.
Just before we go on, then, so I'll show you something. Right? Have a look at this. Have a look at this. This will make you. It makes me laugh, and I'm a Spurs fan. If it doesn't make you laugh, if this offends you as a Spurs fan, I'm sorry, but it's all I've got to hang on to.
You gotta give up, man.
Here's a couple of things. So this is. Let me remove the banner. This is every season Tottenham have had. So we were relegated in 77, then came back up in 78. So this is every season we've had since 1978 in the top divisions. If you look at the bottom in yellow, which is obviously this season with Ange, he is bottom of every metric other than goals scored. It's our lowest league position, our lowest points, our most defeats, and our lowest number of wins. That is Tottenham this season under Ange Postecoglou. If that's not bad enough, Charlie, 1 sec. If that's not bad enough, have a look at this. So this is Spurs. Spurs lost their first game under Ange in November 2023. Bearing in mind we're in May 2025. This is Tottenham. I know it's a bit small, but if you actually look, the key metric here is the row with the 2.36 in the yellow at the top, all the way down. That's Tottenham's points per game. For 18 months, 19 months, it's just deteriorated week on week on week on week on week. And in that time, guys, Tottenham have taken, in 44 games, we've taken 44 points. We're averaging a point a game for our last 44 Premier League games. So when people tell you it's injuries, when people tell you it's because of the Europa League Cup run, look at that. That's 32 Premier League defeats, by the way, in those last 64 games.
But you know what's mad, right? That genuinely, if the 3 teams that came up weren't so bad, United and Spurs could have got relegated. Both teams with 2 games. Both teams with 2 games left haven't even reached 40 points.
Do you know why this is a false narrative? I've actually looked at this. Like I've gone back the last 10 years on the teams that got relegated, and none of them are finished on 38 points or so. They all finish low 30s, maybe 28s, and then you always have a team that's 15. So I get the narrative. Spurs and Man United have played as bad as those teams. But neither of us point tallies would get us relegated in the last 10 Premier League seasons. So I do think it's a made-up narrative by fans to, push the fact of how bad we've been to make it look worse.
Do you know what?
Just to point this out.
Wasp in my room. Sorry.
I just see it. I thought it was in here. I thought it went past my eyes.
So if I do that and act like a right little girl, you know why. Sorry, carry on as you were.
Just to point it out to you, George, because you may not know this, but if the quality of the teams that came up were better, they don't lose all the games that they lose, which means they have more points, which means you necessarily wouldn't have the points.
No, I know the point that you're making, Hook, but the point that I'm saying to dispute that is we've seen better teams come up. The narrative has been the last 2 seasons, the worst seasons that we've had from promotional sides, and all 3 of them get relegated. Yeah, and then we've had better years where that doesn't happen, and even still, the 3 teams that get relegated always finish with points less than what Man United and Tottenham are right now. So I ain't trying to make us seem like we've not had a bad season. We've had a very bad season, but I'm just, putting the facts out there.
Do you know what you're saying? We're sitting there with a cigar, not worried at all. We're good. We knew what we were doing. We knew how many points we needed, and we got there 10 games ago. Yeah.
You asked the question at the start: who is it more important for? By the way, I think I can speak for every Liverpool and City fan. I'm the biggest Spurs fan on the May 21st. I don't like United winning any trophy, right? But I do think the reason why I think it's more important.
Same as Hook's, Romz.
No, Hooks will probably be more for the other side. Probably, you know what? I haven't seen Arsenal fans saying, "Look, we don't see Spurs as rivals. We want United to lose." So maybe it's a bit 50-50 in Arsenal camp. But the reason why I think it's more important for United, right? Because I think you and George would agree. Regardless if you win this trophy, I think Andrew's gone. Where if Amorim loses this trophy, I think Amorim's gone. But I think if he wins, they'll do the same thing that they did with Ten Hag. I think Wolfie was saying it earlier, it will be deja vu. They'll just give him they'll give him more time based off the premise that he's won Europa League. And we need to understand as well, Europa League's killing two birds with one stone. If you're not already in that top 6, top 5, top 6, you'll get Champions League with it as well. But I feel like you're going to sack Ange regardless, where I think this, whether Amorim stays or not, is dependent on whether he wins this trophy. And what's so funny is football fans are fickle. Even though you two have had abysmal seasons, I think the worst season for both clubs, if you do win this trophy, fans aren't going to care. It's going to be as if these 38 games have not happened. And that's just how football is. You're going to lift something at the end, you're going to have a nice day out, and you're going to be in Champions League football. But to answer your question, Sab, I think it's slightly more important for United. But then the narrative of you've not won anything since 2008, it's very close. But I think in terms of building, I think it's more for United because their manager's more recent. Your manager would have been in 2 years. So I think it's slightly more important for them. God forbid they win. I'm a biggest Spurs fan. I need you lot to do the business.
I think it's massive. I think it's massively more important for Manchester United because they are in financial shit to the nth degree. Tottenham are never going to be in that situation. They've got plenty of money. If Man U don't win this and get into the Champions League, how are they going to fund Amorim's rebuild? They're not going to be able to do it. Simple as that. And all that will happen is it will continue to get worse, which we can all pray for. So,
aren't they already in talks with Cunha? Aren't they already in talks with Cunha?
Yeah, but it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Chelsea are hanging about. You know what they're like. They've only got to decide on Cunha. And
they don't have a scouting team. They just wait for every other deal to be nearly done and then go, we'll have a bit.
So they'll go, what's Man U offering you? We'll offer you double and 10 years contract. Right? So for Man U, for me, it's massively important. And listen, I have no fondness for Tottenham Hotspur. And the fact that they've not won for so long is highly amusing. But on this occasion, I am going to want Tottenham to win because I want to see Man U to go down, 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 down.
Hooks, does anyone believe that though? Like, sorry, Hooks. Like a lot of football fans are running with this narrative at the moment that if Man U don't get it, Man U won't have any money. And I always hear this about clubs like Man U, clubs like Barcelona. They always somehow find money.
They always spend it.
But Hooks, haven't they? They've got like Sancho, you would probably think is going to be sold this summer. Rashford will probably be sold this summer. Casemiro will probably leave this summer, leaving, I don't know, what's he on, 300 grand a week. Surely United will find money somewhere, won't they, Hooks?
I mean, they're building a new stadium as well, innit? So not only like money, money is like really like, yeah, money's an issue for United. I won't like money, and they've got like what they need to do to build their squad for it to compete in the league. It is cost way more than whatever money those sales will generate. And truth be told, like if teams know that they're in a bad space and they need to take money, they'll just teams can take advantage of that. So I do think that it would be like astronomically worse for Manchester United if they do not win in the final, just because of like it would be like they brought in Amorim to go forward, but now they've actually gone like maybe 5 steps backwards in their process.
The worst manager of all time at United. I think he's been their worst ever manager.
Yeah, like
can I throw something in, Hooks? Can I throw something in? I don't know whether anyone else has factored this in, right? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's not because I'm a Spurs fan. I'm just playing devil's advocate. When people talk about it being more important to Man United for finances, for stadium, etc., don't forget that the Spurs stadium that was built on the premise of having don't forget we've got essentially a mortgage on the stadium. every year that we've got to pay. I believe it's something like £33 million. Don't quote me. It might be a little bit less, a little bit more.
Oh, you're still paying
We've
for
got to pay that every year. We've
got. I didn't realize you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. We didn't build it out. We didn't build it out right. We've borrowed loads. We've borrowed loads against it, but on a good rate. So we're still paying that, right? So this stadium was built. It was very expensive. It was like 1.2 billion. Was built on the premise of money coming into the club and revenue. Now, if Spurs don't get Champions League, by the way, I don't think we deserve it in any way, shape, or form. But that's football. If we don't get Champions League, guys, we lose out on, what is it? Anything between 70 and 100 million in the Champions League, depending on how far you go. Plus, got to remember, at the moment, chaps, we are 12 places below where we finished last season in the Premier League. 12, right? That means we are currently £37 million down on Premier League prize money. So when people are talking about it only means to Man United, what will Spurs do? Because the likes of Romero will go. Kulu will go. There's reports that Maddison will want out. Spurs won't have any European football. We don't have that much money. We're asset rich. We're not cash rich. Don't you think for Spurs as well, this is a huge sliding doors moment?
Spurs will be fucked as well. That's what I said earlier, Savva. You lose this final, you come 17th in the league. Who's going to want to join Spurs to make the team better?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look, is it?
It's not good.
You know what? I assumed something earlier, but this is a question for you and for George and Savva. I just assume, but Ange is going regardless if you win this trophy or not. Like, I'd like to think
I don't think it's safe to assume, but I'd like to think, yeah.
Oh, it's got to go.
Yeah, I just thought
we all say our prayers.
No, do you know, it's not safe to assume. I think the thing for me is you've got to look at, especially Manchester United last season. You've got to look at. I mean, the last time we won a trophy, it was the exact same thing as in we finished bottom half of the table. We won a trophy. We gave the manager a chance. I think it's understandable. I can understand the premise and why they might give him a chance, but I'm not, and I'm sure Savva's the same. We don't want him in. We've seen enough of Ange. We don't want him to continue. So he's got to go. But it's not safe for us to assume that he is going to go, because I don't think that necessarily is 100% the case. But more than anything, on this topic of who needs it more, I think Man United are in a place where they're Man United. They always need a trophy. So there's no doubt about that. Like Charlie started off the conversation, they would be favourite going into this final. I have them as favourites going into the final. It's a final. It's Man United. The Spurs aren't supposed to win finals. That's the narratives that's already out there. And we haven't necessarily had a good record of that in the last 25 or 30 years. So it's understandable if we're not going to go in there as favourites. But at the same time, the way that I'm looking at it is the game plan is simple. Ange goes into the dressing room, says, do what you guys done 3 times already this season. You've beat this Amorim team twice. Like there shouldn't be much of a different game plan to go in there. It shouldn't overcomplicate it. Just go in there and do what you guys have already done this season twice and quite comfortably. Because all the games we played against Man United, it wasn't like, oh, you just about beat them or they should have beat us. We comfortably dealt with Man United. So
not the 1-0, George. The 1-0 win.
1-0.
The 1-0 they had
chance. They had a few chances, but I wouldn't say they back. I felt like we managed the game really well.
Even the 4-3, right? I'd say for earlier parts, but I still feel like you were hanging on in that game. I wouldn't say
hanged on because Fraser Forster gave them goals, though. If we never gifted them the goals, then we wouldn't have been hanging on, innit?
Yeah, a lot of them were.
I don't know if someone mentioned it, but like I heard a stat about Man United and their open play goals. Like they're not necessarily scoring loads of.
I was saying it earlier. Their last open play goal was against Southampton in January.
They're scoring a lot in the Europa, though, aren't they? I know this is so weird, right? But Man United have suddenly started scoring loads of goals in the Europa games. Spurs are not, but Spurs have started to shut up shop a little bit in the Europa games. Whereas when Spurs play a Premier League game, we literally turn into bloody blue.
Yeah.
We literally go on, just go through us like we did yesterday against Palace, who had 23 shots.
Palace had 23 shots.
I watched the extended highlights. They could have, no exaggeration, could have been about 5-6-0 up in the first half. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights. They were having chance after chance. It was wave after wave. It was crazy.
But to Charlie's point, why wasn't Postecoglou in the last 10 or last 5 or 6 Premier League games. Why wasn't he trying to play a system where that he intends to play against Manchester United so he could refine it and nail it down? Why chuck a load of misfits in and just lose games? It doesn't make sense to me. The man is a fool.
Do you know what I don't understand? This is what I'd like to ask you guys about. And again, I'll tell you what, I'll start with George as a Spurs fan this time. There's that video going around, and I'm sure you've all seen it. If you haven't, I'll chuck it in our WhatsApp group of Ange Postecoglou giving this rousing speech after the Bodo Glimt game.
Yeah.
And what I love is, I'm really harsh with Spurs fans, right? What I love is this, is after that game, the speech is going around and he's giving it, don't worry, guys, this isn't about me. I've been there, seen it and done it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you haven't really in Europe, have you, mate? But this is about you. It's about you as players. And he says, you know what? We've got 2 games left. We're going to use those 2 games to prepare for the final. Right? And everyone's going, oh, he's got me. And he's reeled me back in. And I love him again. And oh, my God, the players, they love him. They're going to run through brick walls. Turn up against Palace. How's that preparing for Bilbao? You've gone straight back from the tactics that have seen you through in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the Europa League, gone straight back to the 2 at the back, inverted wingers, everyone chaotic football. And then you've got fans going, oh, the players are running through brick walls for him. How can the players be running through brick walls when they've lost 20 Premier League games and 24 games all season? George, let me start with you. What do you make of that speech? I mean, I thought it felt like it was quite easy to do after beating Bodo Glimt. You know,
I don't know. For me, look, I used to be someone when I was young. I used to listen to loads of motivational speakers. I mean, like all the best ones, Eric Thomas, you know, all the top motivational speakers. I didn't watch that team talk and got motivated once. I wasn't moved. I don't know what people were moved. Clearly, people have not been motivated or been in like a dressing room or been around someone who actually has like that devotion. When they speak, you're just listening and you're all into everything they say. He didn't grip me in at all. I was sitting there thinking, all right, sounds nice, but like you're not saying anything of like real conviction here. Like when I was listening, I was looking to hear, boys, we ain't done nothing yet. You know, enjoy your little moment for now, but we have not done nothing yet. I wanted to hear that in specific line, which he didn't say. He's going, boys, at the end of it, let's celebrate the night. Celebrate Bodo Glimt, bruv.
You know what? George, have you seen, and anyone in the panel and anyone in the chat, I love this interview. May you rest in peace. Have you seen the Kobe Bryant interview where I don't really know basketball like that, but I think there was maybe 3-4 games left in the final because I think he played 7. He could play up
best of 7,
and I think they were 2 up or 3 up, and they were like, "Why aren't you happy? He's like, job's not done. That job. Why am I fighting about? Job's not done." So I know exactly what you mean, George. That you probably
exactly that. That's the mentality I have towards it, especially when you've gone through.
Did we over celebrate, Jones? Did that look like a dressing room
I'll be honest,
trophy as opposed to a semi-final?
Yeah, like to me, I've
gone early.
It's a bit tough because I can imagine in that moment as a player, it should be celebrated. No one should. I don't like the cameras in the dressing room. That's what I don't like. I just didn't like the PR side of it. It's like, let's make as much content as we can out of this. Get the cameras in the dressing rooms. Let's get all the players taking videos of each other. They're doing
like pictures. Red Club in North London.
It does. And that's the thing about us and what we have in common is we focus so much on the PR, focus so much on trying to make like the team look great, but all of that stuff could have just been missed. I would have been happy with job's not done yet. Like you said, job's not done. Focus on the final. Get the final done and then release all of this footage after the final. I would love to see it after the final. And I would probably look at the same speech. I'd be like, that's an amazing speech. I'll probably look at it differently. But now I know as a Spurs fan, I've been heartbroken too many times. You can't trick me. I'm not going to believe this is done until it's actually done. I need to have that final. I need to see the trophy, armpits in the air before I start to celebrate. So as much as I'm going to be happy going into Van, I'm going to do loads of previews. You're going to see me have my chest out and so on. At the same time, I know the job's not done. And the players, they've been far too lackluster for a while. I don't have the belief in them that going into this game, like you said, Crystal Palace, I knew that, to be honest, I knew the Crystal Palace game was just going to be a blah anyway. He mentioned going into the game that, you know, they're playing on the rubber pitch on the 4G Astro. He's going to drop a lot of players. They're still feeling tight. That's fine, cool, whatever. But this game against Villa, that's going to tell me a lot. If we don't go into this Villa game and put out a really good performance, a strong performance that's going to mirror what I need to see in the final, then I'm going to know where this team's at and where their head's at leading into this game. Because, yeah, man, for me, I don't think that speech was very inspirational, and I don't think what Spurs have been doing, the way they're acting after that win, was right. It's just too much.
It should have just said, lads, I did say I always win a trophy my second season. Here we go. That's what I needed to have said.
Do you know what would be so funny? Though,
By the way, although Forest have got, you know, little chance now of getting, we have got a slight chance of getting. We've got West Ham and Chelsea, so there's a slight chance of us getting into Champions League. But we're certainly not, you know, imagine that to be the case. The worst thing is that the other team we're up against is Villa, and they've got Man United and Spurs as their last 2 games. I mean, come on.
I was saying earlier, they're probably
I've been saying on here for months and months and months, haven't I, guys? Villa will get top 4. And every time I say it, Wolfie says, nah, their goal difference, nah. I'm telling you, they've got Spurs 5 days before Europa League final. Actually, I could have just stopped at Spurs. They've got Spurs, right? And I think we've got one of the worst away records in the league. And then they've got Man United, which will be, 3 or 4 days after either winning the Europa
or losing
the Europa. I mean, at that point, what's Man United's motivation?
Yeah.
The thing is, Savva, I agree with you on that Villa are going to get the point. They were always going to get those points. The slight bit that I think was a little bit disingenuous and a little bit over the top was saying that with Forest, with home games against Everton, Brentford, and Leicester City, we're only going to get 1 point. I think that, I don't think it would be fair to have expected that to happen in the form that we'd been showing.
I justified myself at the time, and I said that the difference is we've shifted away from Spurs. I like this. I said at the time, the difference is teams that have not been there, seen it, and done it. I've got no evidence that they can get through the difficult business end of the season. And this is. Hang on, this is what I've said about Arsenal for years, and the Arsenal fans come at me. But I've said for years, it's all well and good getting yourself into a position after 25 games of the season that you can win a title. But Man City for years, what they were brilliant at is knowing how to see out that last 10, 15 games. They knew how to do it. Liverpool know how to do it. Arsenal, we've never seen do it. We've seen them get in wonderful positions, but we've never seen them do it. And that was my worry with Forest was when you get to that stage, your manager isn't experienced at getting you through it. None of your players really have been there, seen it, and done it. That was my worry, whether or not you were playing easy teams or not, so to speak. It was more about the experience.
Yeah, I think what sometimes happens is you come up against like somebody like Wolfie, who's obviously quite out there. So you naturally tend to say things as fact rather than, well, you know, if you think about it, you could decline because but whereas what happens is you say, no, you're going to lose them because you're not, you know what I mean? And it comes across as,
To be honest, these weren't the games I thought you'd slip up on. You know, when I said it, I didn't think, oh my God, Everton and Leicester and you know, I didn't think that. But guys and girls, just quickly, we've got 6 minutes until the show ends. I've got another show at 8:30 tonight, by the way, with Perchy, the What Are We Doing Here podcast. And tonight's going to be interesting because we're going to look back at a number of Spurs YouTubers that have given me some shit this year. And I've gone back today painstakingly and had a look at all of their predictions from the summer, all of their predictions of how great our transfer windows were. And I'm going to be putting a few of them out there. A few people that are telling me now, well, Savva, our squad's not as good as you think. From the same people that are rocking up on TalkSport, right? These people were predicting we'd finish 3rd and above Arsenal during the summer. So I've got a few things to say tonight. Guys, just quickly for the last 5 minutes, that Champions League race, let me start with you, Charlie. That Champions League race is getting tight. Like it is getting very, very tight. You guys put yourselves in a wonderful position last week. Then you've messed up this week. Man City have drawn to Southampton. Arsenal are not suddenly not winning games. Who's missing out, Charlie?
I think it'll stay as it is.
You think?
I do think we've got enough to beat Man United at home on Friday night, and then the Forest game will be a shootout. I've been saying it for weeks. I think the Forest game will be a shootout for Champions League. Maybe for us, not for them. But let's wait and see what happens in their next game.
Yeah, we've got West Ham next, so we could
West Ham. So it's possible that Forest could have something to play for in terms of Champions League if they can beat West Ham. But yeah, I do think we've got enough. I know, obviously, yesterday against Newcastle, it wasn't the best from us. We did play a lot better second half with the 10, and I thought we looked all right. I think I've seen enough fight in that performance second half to suggest that we can get 6 points and qualify. But yeah, we've had so many lives this season. Every time we mess up, everyone else does, and we get away with it. Like, no one's taken advantage of. No one's taken advantage of any slip-ups from anyone. It's like the quality of these teams, like Newcastle obviously a little bit ahead now, but like no consistency from the likes of Newcastle, City, Chelsea, Villa, and even Forest to an extent as well. Like, it's almost like no one wants it. It's like every week people are just dropping points. But I do think it will stay the same. Although part of me feels it's no given that City get the job done either, by the way. Bournemouth at home and Fulham away to finish the season. That's not easy.
No game's easy right now, is it?
I mean, if we're looking at the way I see it, let me come to you, George. We haven't got any skin in this game, so it's we can just say whatever we want here. It really doesn't matter, and we're not going to be in the mud. If you look at the table there, for me, I can't see that Villa don't get 6 points. I can't see that they don't beat us on Friday, and I can't see that they don't beat Man United. So I'm going to go with Villa to get 69. I think the Chelsea Forest game might be the undoing of both those clubs.
Yeah.
I've just got George. What do you reckon? Who are you going for?
Do you know what? I was just going to ask you who's Chelsea's last game, because I know they got Man United next, and that's what I was going to say. I think I would have said Chelsea are definitely not getting it if they didn't beat Liverpool. But obviously, they done well to beat Liverpool, and they've put themselves in a strong position. I've got a feeling Villa's not winning both their games, and I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know whether they're not going to beat us. I know I've got a feeling maybe a draw, maybe even United might get a draw in one of them. I just got a feeling they'll slip up against either or of our sides. I don't know if it's their game against United at home.
It's away.
United are worse at home now.
I know they're worse at home, but it'll be last day of the season, innit?
And they would have either won. They would have either won the Europa League at that point, George, or lost it. So
Villa's record at Old Trafford is horrendous. Well, by the way.
What you guys just said there, that Chelsea Nottingham Forest game could undo them. If Chelsea don't win that game, then I think Chelsea beat Man United. That's the thing. I think Chelsea beat Man United this week. But I suppose it comes down to that last game of the season. If Chelsea or Forest draw, then both of them are going to drop out if Villa win, and then if Forest win. Yeah, I think that game calls it. That game definitely calls who's going to get the fifth spot.
Do you know, quick prediction, right? I think the top four stay exactly where they are. Actually, no. I think Newcastle finish above Arsenal. I just want to fling that in there. So I think Arsenal finish third. But I think Chelsea and Villa swap places, because I agree with Sam. I think Villa win both their games. And I think the next three, I think Villa win their game, Chelsea win their game, and Forest win their game. So I think they will all get a win in the next game. But I think Forest and Chelsea draw, in my opinion, where Villa will capitalize and win. And that's where I think Villa will pit Chelsea and Forest.
Mm.
You're
the last one to round the show off for the last minute.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Yeah, I agree. I think the top four are the top four. And look, let's be absolutely honest. None of us know it, but I would say that Villa will win their last two games. So Chelsea will have to beat us on the last game of the season, and that is not a given. Especially if we're out of the conversation, then we've got, I know that sounds ridiculous, but the less pressure we have, the more likely we are to get at least a draw against them.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
all that it would take to knock Chelsea out. One last very quick point I would make is that, unfortunately, and I really don't like this, I have to be a Manchester City fan in the final of the FA Cup, because if City beat Palace, we get Europa League. If they don't, we get Conference League. That's big. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
So, sadly, and I hate it because I'd love Palace to win it, but you got to look after your own, haven't you?
But by the way, just to throw a spin on this, and I am going to end the show in 60 seconds. Just to throw a spin on this, I think Newcastle, everyone's talking as though they've done it. I think Newcastle have got Arsenal away next, if I'm not wrong. I don't know who their last game is, but I think
It
they've
all
got
changed, mate.
They got Southampton, I'm pretty sure. Last game.
Is it Southampton?
No, Newcastle got Everton at home.
No,
Everton at
Arsenal.
home.
Imagine if everybody
Arsenal.
loses and we win.
Ignore me. Right,
Wolf
guys,
will be
listen.
back next week.
Listen,
If everybody loses and we win, Wolf will be back next week.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys and girls, first of all, thank you to Love United, Hate the Ops. I said, can we get prediction from the panel for the final? Just really quickly, I've got to go Spurs. I'm going Spurs. Got to.
Spurs.
George is going to say the same. Quickly, and Charlie.
I hope
Romz, who's
Spurs,
winning?
but I fear it'll be United because they are so.
Yeah,
strong.
I want Spurs, but it'll be United.
I think it will be United, but yeah.
Okay, even on a panel where 2 Spurs fans make the majority, we can't get a win. Big up to you. Thank you very much. And then Rob Frank, thank you. Very generous, my man. He said, these are great shows. Big up to having the panelists. Smash the like button. Yeah, please do. Please subscribe to George as well. Please subscribe to Charlie. All their links are in the bio of the show. Please subscribe to Romz. Please subscribe to Forest Fan TV. And subscribe to me as we're 335 away now from 18K. So please smash that button.
on.
Rob, thank you very much. Chaps, thank you. Enjoy your weeks. If anyone wants any impromptu shows, just let me know. It's good fun, isn't it? Talking about football all day. Take care, everyone. I've just sent you all over to Lee Gunner. Please just say Savva Raid. Yeah, listen, have a good night. And anyone that's interested, I'm live at 8:30 for the What Are We Doing Here podcast. We've got receipts. Take care. Bye-bye.
Urids.